The Gunners come here having won their last 5 away matches in the league. The 6th in a row tonight will be their best such sequence in the same season for 20 years. Headed in by Mateta. All the way through for number 2 for Jordan Ayew. Zaha make it 3, and he does. An emphatic victory against Mikel Arteta's Arsenal.
Well, after the setback comes the reset. Arsenal still have a top 4 finish in their sights. Ball's crossed in, here's Trossard! 1-0 Brighton. Out to Mwepu! Brighton have their second and create more problems for Arsenal.
Well, as we've all been saying while watching that, Brighton don't score. They did score against Arsenal, and more than once as well.
You know what? It was. It's when you watch Brighton and you watch them since they've been in this league. Their problem has been scoring. It's never been a problem with the players that they've got to create chances, get themselves in that last third and cause problems. But we saw the other day, very organised. They snuffed Arsenal out in the places where Arsenal tried to create. They couldn't create. No Thomas Partey, you know. So their midfield was stifled, and they took full advantage of that. And you know, Mwepu was absolutely brilliant in this game. He scores this goal. This is not easy from the edge of the box, side foot finish, and they deserved that win. You know, Arsenal unfortunately couldn't get anything going, couldn't really create, couldn't get the ball into Ødegaard, who could then get it into the Saka or Lacazette, you know, not scoring. It was a very tough game for Arsenal to have, the two of them, Palace and the Brighton game. But you know, it was a tough one. But it's where Arsenal are at the moment. If you can't score goals, you know you're going to give teams the confidence to continue to go at you, and that's what Brighton did.
Right. I mean, do you think then that brings in that this whole thing about Aubameyang? Because us in the print media, we will, when we assess it at the end of the season, we will look back at that decision if they fail to get into the top 4 and say, you sold a guy who scores goals. Mm-hmm. You might say that there was a problem, but as a manager, it's your job to manage that situation. You look at that graphic, yes, they've shared the goals around, but in the last few games, they haven't scored enough goals to be able to shoot or to maintain the position that they had, which was a position of control in the race for the top 4.
I think that the Aubameyang situation, and obviously him scoring these 10 goals in 14 at Barcelona, it's not great reading, I suppose, for Arsenal fans, but playing a totally different way. He's playing in a system with Barcelona where he is just activated. You know, there's space behind. People are actually looking for him. There's chances being created. That wasn't happening at Arsenal, and I think that what we're seeing with Arsenal is the same thing. The way that Mikel wants to play through the back, through the midfield, and inverted wingers, Lacazette coming short, trying to build play, people are starting to work that out a little bit, and so it's up to the players to obviously still play out their playing. They have to play better because teams are going to try and stop you. But at the moment, that's not happening. We're not able to create and make enough chances and take a half chance, whereas then, like we did against Villa, you know, you take a half chance and then you sit back, you're able to defend it. That's not happening for us at the moment. So it's very tough. I think the 4th place position has been one that when you watch it and watch what we're capable of, I think we're the lowest goal scorers in that top 5. It's not sustainable. And then you lose a Tomiyasu, Partey, and Tierney. You can't sustain that with missing those kind of players.
On Aubameyang, is it just to kind of to wrap that up? Is it a mistake to sell him, or is it just that he didn't fit at Arsenal? The relationship had become sour, and that he does fit at Barcelona, and he's happy there. Can it all be true?
I think it's probably a bit of both. In the end, you know, it's a shame that it's come to that because he is a great goal scorer and he's showing that. The way Arsenal played, obviously, it didn't work for him, especially how Mikel wants to play now. It didn't work for him. So I think in the end, it was best for both parties for them to move on. It's very tough to see a goal scorer that you've had go somewhere else and score goals when your team is not scoring goals, but at the same time, the manager's made a decision. And you have to back that decision, but then if that decision's been made, you're hoping that people step up to then fill that void, and it's not happened at the moment.
But that could have been fixed by having a player lined up. Normally, if you have a transfer policy that's working as it should, if one player's going and it's going to be a big loss in terms of goals, you have somebody lined up to do that. Do you think the reason they didn't bring anyone in is because they thought they had that available in the squad?
Maybe, Kels, because, you know, it was always going to be tough. You're thinking, is Eddie Nketiah going to step up maybe? Gabriel Martinelli, we know that he's capable of scoring goals. Did he put too much of a burden on maybe them to maybe get through and come in and score goals? I think Gabriel Martinelli's done it. I think when he's played, he's been very dangerous. I think Saka's done it. Emil Smith-Rowe's trying to get himself back in as a regular. I think that he's shown that he can do it, but unfortunately at the moment we cannot get goals from Lacazette. I think he's got 4 goals, 2 of those are penalties, and that's not going to help in this current climate. So the way we're trying to create chances and the fact that we're not taking half chances even when we do get those is always going to be a problem for us. And I said at the start of the season, if we can finish anything better than 8th, then it's progress. Being in 4th for so long, I think to a certain extent, some of the other teams, we see Man United are not doing what they should be doing. We know with that squad of players, they should be doing a lot better. Tottenham now, off the back of their signings, they're starting to get it now. You're seeing it with Tottenham, and they're rightly in 4th at the moment because they can score. And Arsenal is always going to be tough, not being able to score the goals at the rate that you need to score them at. And that's why I was always a little bit like, I feel like I've got another 10 miles to go. I've only got 6 miles of petrol. You know, it's not going to quite get there. But at the same time, if we can finish in 6, we have to take that as a good season. Have to.
Yeah. In terms of the way that they've sort of slipped away, because it felt for a long time we were saying Arsenal are in pole position. They had the games in hand. They still got 1 game in hand, but they had the games in hand. It felt as though the momentum was behind them. It felt as though results were going to go this way. Then you look to this week, which could be defining for them. They've got Southampton, Chelsea in midweek, Manchester United at the weekend, and then it's West Ham after that. That could be, even before they get to the North London derby, that could be the defining period for their season.
Yeah, I think so. You know, Southampton is an interesting game because they've been on a terrible run as of late. But you look at the Chelsea game; they've been in brilliant form. Manchester United, anything could happen in that game, so there's no guarantees there. West Ham is fighting on all fronts as well. Leeds, that's a tough game. Spurs, look, all of them are really, really difficult. And for a team that doesn't really score many goals, as Wrighty was saying there, that doesn't fill me with very much confidence if I was an Arsenal fan. If I was watching Arsenal, I'd say, right, where are we picking up points? I'm not entirely sure we're going to get over 10 points out of all of those games. And I know it's a big shout, but all of those teams in there are fighting for something. You know, top 4 positions. Chelsea are firmly in the 3rd place. Newcastle have turned a brilliant corner. They're playing really, really well. Good football at the moment. So, you know, you would have to say, I can't see Arsenal finishing 4th. So anywhere above 7th position from an Arsenal angle would have to be seen as definitely as a positive.
Yeah, how much is this not operating in the transfer window cost them, do you think?
Massively, because they've got to let a lot of players go. And if you're going to do that, you've got to bring at least some players in. If you look at Spurs, they brought Kulusevski and Bentancur in. Even though they let 4 players out, at least they had 2 players with whom Conte could actually start to reshape his side. Arteta will look back and look at a lot of mistakes that he made in the January transfer window. The handling of Aubameyang. I remember when Harry Redknapp at Spurs was trying to get into the top 4 and there were lots of fringe players who were not happy, but he kept them on side so that when he had injuries at the back end of the season, he was able to rely on those players. With Aubameyang, he literally threw him overboard. You look at the other players as well. Kolasinac could have played at left back, no Tierney at the moment. You've got Ainsley Maitland-Niles that he could have kept on side. Callum Chambers can play centre-half or full-back. You know, these are players that were either allowed to go away on free or to go and help other clubs. And Mari, for example, says he doesn't want to come back, you know, because of the way that he feels he was treated at the club. So I think Arteta will look at his handling of some of those players and use it as a learning curve for going forward. But I look at that graphic there. I don't think it's a big call at all to say that Arsenal won't finish in the top 4. Not only are they not scoring enough goals, but they've conceded 5 now in their last 2 matches, so they're not even secure at the back. At the weekend, they lost to a team whose one of their best defenders they took for £50 million. You should be going there and beating them, or staying at home and beating them even. But I think as far as Spurs are concerned, I don't think it would be hyperbole to say that I think they could win every game, Liverpool included. And the reason why I think that's a big call, on the one hand, is that Antonio Conte has shown himself to be an outstanding coach. And I think if he gets him into top 4 from where they were, it's up there with anything he's done in his career. I looked at that squad at the start of the season, I thought there were probably only 3 or 4, and it was a widely held belief. They were a shambles. But it's been a coaching masterclass where he's got them organised and focused. Harry Kane, 8 goals in his last 12 games in all competitions. Son Heung-min, 17 goals so far this season, only 3 behind Mo Salah. Defensively, they look so solid, so strong, so focused.
Oh my God, what a player that guy is.
Footballer. That fixture list there, West Ham don't have the squad. United have got the most resources, but the least heart and organisation and team ethic, team spirit. That is 4th place now for Spurs, and they can only throw it away. I don't think they will from here.
So Spurs have added, the players they've brought in have taken them to another level, exactly what they needed to do in the transfer window. And we talked about how Arsenal didn't do that. They didn't go and get players that they might have needed. If there were players within the squad who could step up to the mark, have they done it, do you think?
No, I don't think they have. I think that when you look at the the goal scoring frailties that we've had, even when Aubameyang was there, him and Lacazette were very patchy in their goal scoring form. Eddie Nketiah, we all thought that might have been the one to maybe step in. I think that he's had opportunities to come on and make changes in games. I've not really seen it. We've seen Florian Balogun go out on loan to Middlesbrough after signing a 5-year deal. You're thinking, is he somebody that maybe could have thrown in and maybe could he have a chance? Because as a striker, you come in, you nick a couple of goals, all of a sudden things change for you. And this is what I was very surprised, Eddie Nketiah. I thought that he might have grabbed that nettle and really gone with it, because it's very, me and Jermaine was talking in the green room about being a striker and seeing the main strikers struggle, and you're thinking, I just want a chance to go on there. And every time I've seen him come on and have a chance, I've not seen enough hunger and drive and determination to get that goal to make the manager say, yeah, I can put my marker on you. Now, there's rumours that he's going to leave, or he might want to leave or anything, but it's still an opportunity to maybe show what you have got and what you're capable of, because there was an opportunity for that to happen for me at Arsenal. And you look at Arsenal now, he's struggling to score goals. He's a striker. I'm not even sure how many goals Eddie's got this season. I don't think he'll have 10 goals this season. And that is what you need from a young striker trying to get into the team. And we've not seen that.
Yeah, it's been interesting to watch the way that he's kind of gone up to that. Because even if he is looking to move away at the end of the season, even if that is the case, there's still an argument there to play at the very top of your game, whether it's for your career at Arsenal or for your career if you want it to be elsewhere.
Look, Eddie Nketiah is in an unbelievable position, and he's had incredible opportunity to become Arsenal's #1 striker. You know, I don't know any other players that would have been in that position. Like, if I was in that situation now, I'll be honest with you, I'm biting hands off. I am chomping at the bit to make sure that Mikel Arteta does not drop me. He's not got a reason or an excuse not to play me. I'm running through brick walls. I'm doing absolutely any and everything I can do. If I'm not scoring goals, I'm going to be creating something. If I'm not creating something, I'm going to be working so hard that he says, there's no way I can leave him out. There's no way. I've not seen that from Eddie. Eddie came out on loan to Leeds a couple of seasons ago, and when he had the opportunity to play, he was brilliant. Brilliant, showed energy, showed enthusiasm, was really good in front of goal, clinical. Went back to Arsenal. He did well when he was given the opportunity to, but he didn't blow me away. It wasn't what I'd been used to seeing. And I know it's a different league, don't get me wrong, but it doesn't mean that the work rate has to change. The work ethic just wasn't quite there. And then this season, when Aubameyang's off form and Laka's off form, I'm looking at him thinking, this is your chance. Yeah. It's your chance. The door is wide open. All you have to do is step through it, kick the door down, and do your job.
Well, I was making the point about Harry Kane when Soldado and Aubameyang were not scoring goals under Pochettino, and Harry Kane seized the opportunity, scored goals in the Europa League. He was put into the Premier League side, scored goals for fun. Yeah. The fans took him to their hearts, because when you're not scoring goals, as you both know,
what are you trying to say?
Working hard.
when strikers that you played with weren't scoring goals.
But if you work hard, the the fans appreciate you,
Yeah.
and they back you, and they get behind you, and that's, I'm sure, what Arsenal fans would have done with Eddie Nketiah had he shown that willingness to work hard. But sadly,
saying that as well, you have to say again, trying to create chances in that team is tough.
That was my next question. If it's hard for Aubameyang, who's gone and got, 10 and 14 at Barcelona, if it's hard for Aubameyang to score in that Arsenal side, then it's going to be hard for a young, developing striker.
Yeah, but when you looked at Eddie's goals, even when he went on loan to Leeds, and when you watch his goals at Arsenal, he's in the box.
Yeah.
He's a box goals. And Arsenal create stuff. They get to the line, they cut it back,
go back to what you were saying earlier when you were talking about at Barcelona, Aubameyang, the side is constructed for Aubameyang to score goals. Whereas when he was at Arsenal, he was playing on the left, he's tracking back. I mean, he's nowhere near the position of maximum opportunity, if you like.
It's like when if you looked at his goals for Dortmund, everything, he's in the box, ready to go, balls are coming across, he's getting there near post, seen him score some beautiful goals for Barcelona, doing that stuff what I thought that he stopped doing, getting to the near post, making darting moves, finishing great chances. You think to yourself, all it takes really is a manager to play to your strengths, you know, and that's what we could never doubt with Aubameyang. If you put the ball in there and get that ball to his strengths, he's going to score. And you're hoping with Eddie, and with the way I've seen Eddie as a fox in the box striker. If they could get then, you know, he would score. But it just doesn't seem to be happening. Al Mikel wants him to play at the moment, coming deep with Lacazette, linking play. Like I'm talking about inverted wingers going in, Emile Smith-Rowe, Gabriel Martinelli or Saka. And it just seems like people have kind of worked that out a little bit. And so it's tough. So players have to play better, or they're going to have to change something. I don't know what's going to have to happen there, because it's worrying. It is worrying.
It is worrying. That's all sort of in their hands to a certain extent, Arsenal, is getting the best out of the squad and the players that they have available. It's in their own hands what they choose to do in the transfer window to an extent as well. But they have had injuries as well, which is something that can't really be controlled.
Which, when you look at, like I mentioned, Tomiyasu, Partey, Kieran Tierney, 3 major players in what Mikel Arteta wants to do. You know, Kieran Tierney up the left, Tomiyasu on the right. And we've seen, since Tomiyasu's not been playing, how much the right-hand side has cost us in respect of no creation. Partey's just started to get himself going, getting that ball, playing that ball through into Erdegaard. And so what I saw against Palace, obviously he was coming off of fasting and stuff like that, but Palace they really smothered him. They stopped him getting the ball, stopped him getting it to Erdegaard. Arsenal couldn't get themselves going, and to a certain extent I saw Brighton do the same with Erdegaard. And then it doesn't help to see Xhaka playing left back, but at the same time he's trying to work with what he's got. And what we've got at the moment is a team that's trying to play out from the back with the goalkeeper through the midfield and it's just not working at the moment, and he needs to find a way of getting it to work again. He needs to get the confidence back in the players, because there's a phase in the season, there's a time in the season where it was working because they were playing well doing it. So even when teams were closing them down, they were still getting the ball, they were still trying stuff and making things happen, because that's what you have to do. But then when the pressure comes on, you stop showing, you stop doing these things because you're afraid to give the ball away, the crowd might be on your back, so it starts to feed into that.
Losing that confidence.
Yeah, it starts to feed into that. And so, remember, we can't forget that it's the youngest squad as well in the league, and that can have inconsistencies with it. So there's a lot that this squad's going to have to learn very quickly. And so that's why I'm saying I just hope everybody has a bit more patience, the Arsenal fans, and they can get through this.
Do you think they will go in the transfer window in the summer?
Oh, absolutely. I think they're going to have to, because what they've seen is that if this team is capable of sustaining some kind of run, if you've got the right kind of players and playing well enough, but you do need good players to help you do that. You need to be able to keep that going. I think it's imperative that he goes into the transfer market, simply because it cannot be sustained with the squad he's got right now, and we're seeing that, especially when injuries happen.